welcome back everyone. It's the 6th of July 2019. I'm over here at Washfields, just going to do a quick inspection. They started building some queen cups last week, so I want to see what's happened with them. Also put a super on with a load of frames, so I want to see how they're getting on with that. So I'll open the hive up and I'll see you there. I've changed the camera angle slightly so it's a bit more view of the hive. Crown board nicely stuck down. Another thing I found out recently, you can determine the age of the eggs by the angle at which they're in the cell. So if they're straight up, they're a day old, 45 degrees, 2 days old. Laying down, they're 3 days old. As a rough sort of guide. Look, they're bringing in lots of nectar, but they're not putting it up in the supers. There's eggs in the bottom of the cells. They're filling up some of the cells with nectar. I am looking for the queen because on the last few inspections I haven't seen her, so it'd be good if I can spot her. She should be fairly straightforward to spot because she is marked. She's got a great big yellow spot on her back. They're sort of interspersing the brood pattern with stores by the looks of it. And there are eggs, so Queenie is here. They're bringing in lots of stores, which is good to see. They're not putting it up in the super. I'll keep the super on. Again, interspersing the brood pattern with nectar and pollen. Some of this nectar is going to be syrup from when I fed them. Lots of brood in this frame, cap brood. I think this is going to be a fairly straightforward video to edit because there's not too much going on here. They're bringing in lots of stores, which is really good to see. Lots of pollen, sort of a grey-green pollen, which I suspect is from the brambles, the blackberries, because we've got quite a bit round here. Last frame, this is the frame they've been very reluctant to work on, tearing holes in it, and it's not a very nice frame. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move it further into the brood nest, just to encourage them to draw this frame out, because the bees would rather work on frames in the centre of the brood nest. This was frame number 2, this was the one with the queen cups, and on the recommendations of a fellow beekeeper I'm actually going to remove them because I know that there's a laying queen in here. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the hook end of my hive tool and just break open, get a bit of a better look at this frame. I've just shaken the bees off and I've just spied another one hidden under all the bees. Last frame. They're using this as a bit of a store frame now. Hopefully they'll find the super, which will be above them, and they'll start moving everything up into there. Dummy board back in. Nice and gently. Squeeze it up to the following frame. So in here, almost all these frames apart from one has got brood on it. Sorry, apart from 2, I think one of the ones out here just had stores on, so frames with brood on. So they are quite rapidly running out of space. The bees might be less inclined to fill up this super. They might be struggling to get through the queen excluder. Obviously I want the queen excluder on there because it will stop the queen laying eggs in the honey super. Yeah, I'll put the super back on with the crown board. Hello everybody, welcome back. It's the next day. I'm over here at the home hive. Today's plan, it's going to be an inspection, as well as I'm going to transfer these bees into a full-size hive and get them built up so that they can be moved to another apiary and then moved back where the washfields hive is. So that's the plan today. Yeah, let's get started. So I'm just going to give these bees a bit of smoke. I'm going to move this hive onto the ground, get the floor for the new hive in situ and the brood box, and then I'm going to, as I take the frames from the hive, I'm going to inspect them. I'll obviously be looking for the queen, eggs, brood in all stages, stores, so that's the plan. So pick up the hive and gently pop it on the floor. New floor in place. New brood box. I've got some extra frames here to fill up the space. Frame number 1. It's a nice frame of capped brood, and they're bringing in lots of nectar. I can tell this is nectar they've just brought in because it's not been capped. All the thymolyzed syrup that I've been feeding them got capped, so lots of stores. We've got a bee emerging on this frame as well, a couple of bees emerging. So what they're doing, they're chewing off the pollen and wax cap that's been put over their cell, getting ready to emerge and join the colony. Looks like she's laying more than one in a cell. It'd also be nice to find the queen, because as I said, with the washfields hive I hadn't seen that queen for a while, but this queen isn't marked, so it'd be good to get a spot on her back. All this capped, the white capped stuff at the top, that's all that's partly syrup, but it's also nectar that they're bringing in. Right, okay, so that's the transfer done. I did obviously do a quick inspection while I was looking through, but I didn't see the queen, so I'm now going to take the time to meticulously go through the frames, just for my own peace of mind, so that I know that the queen is where she needs to be. I haven't dropped her during the changeover, or she's got lost somewhere. So there she is. So this is the first time I've used this, so it's going to be interesting to see just how it works. So all you have to do is just push the queen excluder across. I've got the queen in this cage, and I just want to be as gentle as I possibly can marking this queen. So this is the first queen I'm going to mark. Green is the only colour I've got, so very gently I'm just going to spot her back. So there we go. See if that will show up. Got the queen marked, so I just release the cage. And just drop her back onto the frame. There we go, that's a successful marking. I've spotted her and marked her, and she's on this frame just in the top corner here, just in this top corner. she was. She's done a runner now. She's snuck through to the other side. So let's close this hive up. So I've got some spare frames here, and all I'm going to do what I've done, same over on washfields. I'm going to intersperse a couple of these frames. Okay, so that's the transfer complete. All I've got left to do is fit the entrance block and fit the crown board, fit the roof, and we're good to go. So I'm just going to go and grab those now. Crown board on, finally the roof. That's that all done. These bees are obviously going to be a little bit confused because they're in a new box, but I've seen the queen. I've marked her green because that's the only pen colour I've got. This hive is really busy, and they're bringing back lots of pollen as well on most of the bees' legs. Same with the washfields inspection. They're bringing back sort of a pale brown pollen, which I know to be from the brambles, the blackberry. So that's good that there's a decent source of nectar around at the moment, and they're storing it away, no problems. Most of the frames in here have got nectar on, so yeah, pretty happy with that. So I'm going to leave these bees alone now. I think they've suffered enough. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.